Leah, do you want me to preside over the election chair, or were you happy to do it?
No, you can do it, that's fine.
Fantastic. Good morning. Welcome to the meeting of the Governance Committee. This is the first meeting following the annual council, so we do not have a chair for the moment. So I am going to preside over the election of chairman for the ensuing year. Do I have any nominations, please, or proposals?
Nominate Councillor Sims, please.
Councillor Marcus nominates Councillor Sims. Do I have a seconder?
I second Councillor Sims.
Councillor Mumford seconds that. Do I have any other nominations? The room has fallen silent. In that case, can I go to a vote, please, on... And that is unanimous.
Well, thank you very much for your support. And the next item on the agenda is the election of the Vice Chairman. Do I have any nominations?
Could I nominate Councillor Nixon, please?
I'm happy to second Councillor Nixon. So can we go to a vote? All those in favour? Congratulations, Councillor Nixon. You're now Vice Chairman of the Governance Committee.
I just want to make sure there wasn't any other...
Any against or abstentions?
Or anyone else who wants to stand.
Oh, yes. So does anybody else wish to stand for Vice Chair? And the third item is any declarations of interest? Item 4, draft minutes from the previous meeting held the 15th of January. Any comments? Right, part 1 reports. Agenda item 5, annual government statement. Could I have...
Sorry, are we going to vote on those minutes for accuracy?
Oh, sorry, yes.
Proposed approval of the minutes.
Seconder? All those in favour? And item 5, part 1 reports, draft annual government statements. Could I hand over to Jason? Or is it not Jason? Leah, sorry.
No, yeah, that one's me. Thank you, Chair. So just for those watching, I'm Leah Mustoe-Shinton, Monitoring Officer for the Council of the Isles of Scilly. The report I bring before the Governance Committee today is the draft annual governance statement for 2025-26. I'll take the report as read. I'll just go through some highlights and then happy to take any questions. So as set out in the report, the Council is required to prepare an annual governance statement in accordance with the Accounting Audit Regulations 2015. It forms part of the Council's Statement of Accounts and is an externally audited document, and it's one of the Council's internal controls. Effectively, it's a self-assessment of its governance against the Sit for Solace principles for delivering good governance in local government. That guidance, the SIPFA guidance I refer to, the main guidance is a 2016 guidance that was updated in May 2025. And in that update, it reinforced to local authorities the advice for local authorities to have a code of governance. So a code of governance is a separate code which sets out the council's core governance structures, processes and cultures. Essentially, it's like a statement in a moment of time of what the council's governance is. And the purpose for that advice was to enable the annual governance statement itself to focus on the self-assessment in a particular financial year, as opposed to sort of half of it being taken up with setting out what the local authority's standard governance processes are, if that makes sense. So this year, what I bring before members is a code of governance. So the code of governance sets out the council's core governance structures, processes and cultures. And how I've set that out is I've aligned it with the Sit for Solace principles and sub-principles for delivering good governance in local government. And then members have also before them the council's draft annual governance statement for the reporting period of the 1st of April 2025 to the 31st of March 2026. So of note this year, what I did in this year's draft annual governance statement is throughout the annual governance statement, I highlighted in bold areas for improvement and areas for action during 2026-27. And those areas in bold align with both external audit recommendations and internal audit recommendations for the same year. Members will also see, as we're required to do, we have to set out what we consider to be significant governance issues, and you will see that there is a continuation of the significant governance issue relating to updating council policies. I hope members will see through looking at the annual governance statement the work that has been undertaken during 2025-26 to update policies. A number of policies have been updated, but there is still work to do. And those ones highlighted right at the end of the annual governance statement are those that will be focused upon going into 2026-27. So happy to take any questions, members.
I have one question myself. On page 29, the transport and highways, it's way out of date. It says in 2021 we secured government funding to bring major improvements to our shipping, and it just carries on as if that actually happened when it didn't. It very much fell by the wayside. So I just think that that possibly could be amended, but that's the only comment I have on this. Does anybody else have a comment?
Councillor Sims, when you say page 29, is there a page number on the annual governance statement?
It's yes, page 3.
Page 3, yeah.
Highways. It's just
Yeah. So
needs. I think I mentioned this previously, but it does need amending because it's got nothing to do with the current reality.
yeah. So they're the corporate strategies which arise from the corporate plan, which, as members will know, Russell is working with you to set a new set of priorities. So once that is done, that will be updated.
Okay, thank you. Well, Councillor Dean?
Yeah, just on, I think it's page 14 of the statement. It says about officer capacity and key governance roles is strengthened by the arrangements with Cornwall with monitoring officer and deputy 151 officer, but work during 26-27 is needed to fill the vacant head of service role, which impacts on capacity in all governance, corporate governance matters. I just wondered where we are with that. We seem to have been talking about that one for quite a while, and are we any closer filling that role?
So it has been advertised twice and the position not filled. So Russell will, I understand, be going out to advert again, and it is being dealt with as a priority because it does, as I say, impact across those whole corporate governance issues, so complaints, FOIs, DSARs, etc. So it is a priority. You need to get the right person with the right skill set as well. But my understanding is it will go back out to advert and it is being dealt with as a priority.
Okay, thank you. I just like to say, I think the update of having the bold points in the annual governance statement with questions is really good. It means that kind of it's not just a statement document, it's got more in there than just the significant governance issues, which is really good. And obviously the issues need to be addressed, and it's good that we're working towards those, good that policies are being updated. Look forward to being consulted and reading more of those as time goes on. I'd like to propose the recommendations as well, if that's okay.
Is there a seconder? Councillor?
Yeah,
Councillor Dean. I'm sorry, Councillor Legg. I was just a thought that there are a couple of issues with it, which I mean, the one I've highlighted as well. It may well be worth actually having a review of it, say in the November meeting, so that we can actually have a proper up-to-date version when we come to the next year's one, as opposed to sort of treading water. I don't know what you think, Leah.
Chair, so the process is you approve it in draft, it then goes out with the statement of accounts for the period of public inspection, which this year is between the 1st of July to the 11th of August. It will then go back following its external audit and any updates along the way, and it will come back to full council as part of the council's statement of accounts. So you'll have another opportunity then to have a look to see if you want to make any further amends. But what I would say is, in respect of your particular issue, the corporate strategies, they are stated as they were agreed because they haven't subsequently been re-agreed. As soon as you set out your new set of priorities in the 2026-27 annual governance statement, they will reflect those updated priorities.
Okay, so that it does seem to work in a timely fashion. Well, thank you. Well, we have a proposer and a seconder. All those in favour of the three recommendations? Well, that's unanimous. Which brings us on to the internal audit progress report, and I think I'm correct in saying it's Jason's turn.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, that is me. Could everybody hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Brilliant. Great. Okay, thank you. Good morning, members. For those that don't know me, I'm Jason Khan. I'm Principal Audit Manager at Cornwall Council. And as you know, that Cornwall Council delivers internal audit services for the Council of the Isles of Scilly. Normally, it would be Chris Chandler that attends this committee, so I may be an unfamiliar face. But at the moment, Chris is enjoying a well-earned break in the Lake District at the moment. So two asks of the committee this morning, please. Firstly, is to note the completion of our 25-26 internal audit work and also our annual report, and also to approve the plan for 26-27, the internal audit plan for 26-27. So what I'll do, if that's okay, Chair, I'll present this my item in two parts. Firstly, 25-26, and then secondly, if we move on to 26-27, if that's okay.
Absolutely, yes, thank you.
Okay, super. So in terms of our 25-26 work, we've completed two audits since the meeting in January, those being budget management and the culture centre. In terms of budget management, we issued that report at the end of April, and that review focused on adult and children's services, given the value of spend in those areas. The audit gave limited assurance and assessed the overall risk as high. The absence of a permanent strategic director and head of service last year was a primary factor in our conclusion that there was weak budget oversight and accountability, which led us to our overall opinion of limited assurance. We've raised 4 high priority actions, which focused on procurement scrutiny, enforcing budget checks and reducing unsustainable agency staffing. And in the course of our work and primarily towards the end, we've had positive conversations with senior officers, and all of those actions have been agreed with the new director, Sue Butcher, who you know started in March. The agreed timeframes for those actions are 30th of June. So I'm hoping that along with the appointment of Sue and the introduction of the new funding panel, that gives me confidence that the situation will improve. And to confirm that that is the case, we will look to follow up on those actions later in the year and report back to this committee when it meets next in November. Moving on to the Culture Centre, project controls we reviewed during the year. My colleague Chris Chandler was heavily involved with the project board, and we deemed the project controls as being reasonable. Chris, a couple of weeks ago, undertook a site visit, and as with many projects, there are always going to be challenges both in terms of financial risks and timing of delivery. And Chris will work with Nicola and the project board to provide assurance and report on how the council is managing those risks again in this quarter. So I say this quarter in July, I beg your pardon. Cybersecurity and risk management, we reported the outcome of those 2 audit reviews at the last committee meeting. We provided reasonable assurance in both of those areas, which is pleasing. And in terms of the annual report, this gets presented to the committee each year, and members may recall that internal audit are required to present this report, which highlights the work of internal audit and provides an overall opinion on the council's governance and internal control arrangements. I hope the report is self-explanatory. Essentially, it sets out why it is required. It details the work that our opinion is based on, the standards that we operate to, i.e. the global internal audit standards, and the fact that we comply with those standards. And importantly, it states that our overall opinion for 25/6 for the council is reasonable assurance. So that's the first part of the report, members. I'm more than happy to take any questions.
Are there any questions?
No, I don't think it's a real question, but I think it's just worth noting for the minutes and for the public, the red line in this one. I think we can't just go past without saying anything about it. Obviously that's really worrying to have a red limited and high risk opinion in internal audit. In terms of progress, what sort of, and getting this back to something that's manageable, what sort of things are you hoping to see, Jason, in order to give us more assurance that this will be taken care of?
Yeah, so essentially, I mean, it's no surprise that there's overspends in this area. So I'm hoping that there will be more evidence around budget challenge. There'll be more evidence around approval, and essentially I think the adoption of that panel, the new funding panel, gives me confidence that if that's operating correctly as it should, that should happen. I think the root cause of the issues, or many of the issues, are around the lack of consistency of senior management oversight, and the lack of a strategic director and head of service being in place. That really hasn't helped matters. So I'm hopeful that things will improve, but the proof in the pudding will be when we come and look at it again and report back to members in November.
Okay, and I think it's leads to the next thing you can say about updates and progress, but I'll leave you to that. So yeah.
Sure. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Well, in that case, we can go to the recommendations. Sorry, Dan.
I think there's another part of the report that Jason wants to talk about.
Oh, sorry, Jason, you haven't finished yet.
No, that's
Okay,
that's fine.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so essentially the second part of the report is in relation to the 26-27 plan. That sets out the areas that we will be, or that we propose auditing in this financial year. And those are based on conversations that we've had with senior managers, with Councillor Marcus as the then chair of this committee, and with Russell. We had those conversations back in March, and we think those represent the areas which we feel the council needs assurance in. But we must remember that this plan is only a plan. It should remain dynamic, and it should be flexible and enable change throughout the year as required. So essentially, this is the plan that we're wishing this committee to approve to proceed with in this financial year. Thank you.
Are there any other comments then?
No comments. It was my ideas, how you help form those ideas. I think it's brilliant. But I'm happy to propose the recommendations. That was the jest, obviously.
Okay.
I'm happy to second that.
Okay, well, in that case, should we take the recommendations to a vote then? All those in favour? That's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you, members. Thank you.
And that basically concludes the meeting, doesn't it? I'm sorry I couldn't break Tim's previous record for licensing. Thank you very much. Close the meeting now.